Hey, what's up, explorers? Nick Durr, Adam Carroll here on the Mastery Podcast. Glad to have you back. Thank you for being with us and choosing to spend time with us in your ears. We appreciate it.
You know, that's actually something really interesting. I was thinking about that. It was just how grateful we are that people actually tune in and watch us and listen. And
I know.
Yeah. So, you know, as you're sitting wherever you are or doing what you're doing, just know that we really acknowledge you and appreciate you taking the time to be with us and allow us to share.
Yeah, tremendous gratitude.
Yeah, totally.
One of the things for me that came up in December of last year was this idea that it didn't matter how I use my voice, I just needed to use my voice. That there's a lot to teach, there's a lot of people out there wanting to know more about money, so hence this podcast and this project and the Mastery of Money site and everything Nick and I are doing behind the scenes. So thank you, super grateful to all of you.
Yes, definitely.
Cool, what's up for today?
Today, we are going to be talking about career exploration. So there's a lot of different facets to it, but really, you know, from what's important in a career, or all the way to, you know, what are you actually going to be doing? Does it light you up? Is it stuff that you would be doing for free? So we'll dive into that, but you know, I think to tie it into previous episodes, really starting to look at career exploration as what type of lifestyle is it that you want to live, especially from the challenges and action items of really creating that work optional / retirement life. What career or what job or what passion would really fulfill that and make it a smooth transition? That's a question that I definitely have and am interested in hearing responses to.
Cool. Yeah, and I'm excited to talk about this for a couple reasons. Number one, I think that people who love what they do generally make more money.
I would agree with that.
That if you are in flow and it feels like you are really put here to do the work you're doing, that your propensity to make more is much, much higher.
Yeah.
Number two, I'm interested because my own career path was so varied in my 20s. And I was part of the turbulent 20s where you're doing a different job every 18 months or 2 years. And every single one that I did, it occurred to me that I was acquiring skills that made me really good at what I do today.
Yeah.
And so long as I was, mindful of the skills that I was acquiring, I was okay shifting those jobs, knowing that I was getting to somewhere that I wanted to be.
Yeah. Can you give some examples of, what was like the first job out of college or?
Yeah, well,
some of the lessons that
I'm rocking the University of Northern Iowa hat today. Go Panthers.
Go Panthers.
And when I graduated in broadcast journalism, I really thought I wanted to be in front of the camera. And then I realized when I got out that the people working for local news channels make $14 an hour, and they're schlepping their own cameras out to, car deer collisions in the middle of the night. And I didn't want to do that. I had student loan debt. I didn't really want to give up my lifestyle necessarily to do that. So I knew that it probably wasn't at my core what I was supposed to be doing at the time.
Yeah.
So I sold radio ads for a couple of years. Then I sold direct mail advertising. I sold custom-made suits and shirts and sport coats to upper-level executives. I did a couple of more sales / admin jobs, almost like sales support jobs. And then I finally realized when I was 27, Nick, so you're way before me on this. At 27, I realized that what I most wanted to do was speak for a living. And it was at that point that I started leveraging my network, and I got connected with a group out of Cincinnati, Ohio called Making It Count. And I worked for them for a couple of years speaking on high school and college campuses. They got bought by Monster.com at one point.
Oh.
And then from that, had a couple more varied jobs and then started my own business because I knew that I had cobbled enough experience together that I knew what I wanted to go do.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's really, really cool. And first of all, I didn't know there was a thing called turbulent 20s. Now I feel like, okay, like I'm not the only one.
Dude, rest easy. Rest easy. We've all been through it.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. And just out of curiosity, maybe less of a technical thing that you got from these different careers. What was the more of like a behavioral characteristic that you got? Is there anything that, and I'm not fishing for anything, I'm just curious,
each one of them was kind of different because of the people that I was working with. But I would say that I don't know that I had been brought up. I would say I was a hard worker, but I don't know that work ethic, like I'm going to go work 60 hours a week, was necessarily drilled into my head. Though my dad, who is very much a baby boomer, he would talk about working hard, and for him, working hard meant how many hours in the week did he put in.
Right.
I got out, and one of the things on this topic of career exploration, as I was going through the process of figuring out who I was and what I wanted to do, I read The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss.
Yep.
And one of the things that came up was this idea of the new rich, who are people that maybe they only work 20 hours a week, but they make $50,000 a year doing it.
Yep.
They are far more wealthy than someone who works 40 or 50 or 60 hours a week and makes $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
And when I read that in that book, something clicked, and I was like, that's what I'm going to try and figure out. How can I work less but do more important work to me and make more doing it?
Gotcha. That's awesome. And it fits perfectly inside of, mastery of money and the pursuit of mastery.
Right.
Yeah, that's great.
Right.
That's great. To share from my end, out of college, I had a really high paying 6-figure portfolio management analyst job. I was going to say analyst.
You're an analyst.
Analyst job. And I was working 70 to 80 hours a week, completely unfulfilled.
Yeah.
Wasn't interacting with people, and worked on the weekends and was behind a computer all day. And I knew very quickly, I would probably say day 2 of training, I was like, I'm not supposed to be here. And for me, it was a really big deal to come to terms with, hey, this is something that it's a career that I don't see myself in. And even though the money was awesome, the other external pressure I had was from my family, particularly my dad, being a postal carrier growing up, or he being a postal carrier, putting, me and my siblings all through private institutions and colleges, for me to say, hey, I got this really nice paying job, and actually I don't want to do it anymore. For him, it was like, what? Yeah. And so for me, I'm 26 years old now, and in the last 4 years, I've had 7 different jobs. And so I hopped, 6 months, 3 months, and then the job before I started my company lasted 3.5 days. And it was as I
remember this.
As a recruiter. And it was so funny because I go into the office on the quote unquote 4th day, and I was just like, yeah, I cannot do this. And they were actually handing me the garage key because they needed to give me access to things, and I said, I'm actually not going to need this. Like, I just want to let you know, I'm like, respectfully, this is not for me. So
I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. I remember going down the elevator with all my stuff, and I was like, I had no idea what it is that I was going to do, but I remember feeling the most free and alive because I could really create what it is that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So, I knew for me, flexibility was important. I knew that being able to control my own schedule was important. Definitely being able to serve people was important to me. And very similarly to you, I would say every single job that I moved on and transitioned from, I took something from it.
Yeah.
Whether it's being with people, being detail oriented, really discovering my worth as well, especially as an entrepreneur. Sometimes it could be very comfortable or easy to just allow a company to say, okay, you are worth X amount of dollars per hour, versus being an entrepreneur and time and value and all of that, really being able to create that. So for me, I've gone through a lot of different transitions, earning anywhere from $3 to $4 an hour all the way to $250 an hour. So it's been covered the whole gamut, and it definitely is inside of the exploration of career and what I want to do.
I think it's safe to say that you would not have done several of those jobs for no pay. Is that a fair assessment?
That is 100% true.
Yeah.
Accurate, yes. Yep.
That's one of those things that someone posed that question to me. Find something that you would do for free and you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
And I started speaking professionally in 1999. And I've done it, so this is my 20th year of doing this.
Oh, nice.
Full time.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But it's one of those things I won't tell any of my clients this, but I would do it for free. If somebody said, hey, we want you to come in and speak, part of it is, I have 3 kids who have this nasty habit of eating 3 times a day.
I've heard about that.
But So I love what I do. I love to get paid doing what I do. But I find that people who love what they do and would do it if they didn't get paid are probably thriving in their jobs. And I would encourage those of you out there that are maybe not in that position to go through that personal assessment that Nick did. What do you value? Do you value freedom and flexibility? Do you value security? Do you value FaceTime with other people? Are you an adamant and just voracious learner? And if so, if maybe your job just has stopped teaching you things, that may be why you don't like it. So I would encourage you to take a self-assessment about what are the things you value and does your job create that for you. So I want to give an example.
Sure.
There's a young lady named Sam who's a friend of mine who works for a firm down in, she's now been moved to Dallas, Texas. But I talked to Sam the other day who said one of the things she really wants is to be location independent. She wants the ability to travel internationally and actually has a goal to see every country in the world before she's 30.
That's awesome.
And she's cranking on it. I mean, she's really getting there. The advantage of her work is she can do it from everywhere. Her company doesn't necessarily love the idea yet, but she's working on them.
Yeah.
And she said, I love what I do. I love the people I work with, but I desperately want to be able to work independently. And she is working towards that to create the lifestyle that she wants to live ultimately.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is really, really cool. Yeah. To kind of piggyback on that and right on the coattails, one thing that was really important to me was to make a global difference. And I knew that being behind a computer wouldn't allow me to do that, or in the traditional sense. And so by creating my own company, I take everything over the phone. So I have clients in Paris, Bordeaux, Australia, all over the US. I get to operate and play with time zones. And it really allows me to be location independent. And like more than that, like it allows me to be everywhere in the world and make that global difference.
Yeah.
Being in Des Moines.
Right here from Des Moines, Iowa.
Exactly.
The Rocket Metropolis.
Yeah.
Well, we have a challenge for everyone today on the show, and that is we want you to find someone who is doing what you want to be doing. Whether it's the actual job that they're doing or the lifestyle that they're living. And ideally it would be both. Someone who's doing what you ultimately want and living a life that you would like to live yourself. And we want you to reach out to them and just ask them to coffee. And here's the key: pay for their coffee. And then ask them questions like, how did they get there? If they were your age again, what would they do differently to get there faster? What periodicals are they reading? What podcasts are they listening to? You know, those kinds of questions can go a long, long way. And I'll tell you the reason that we came up with this challenge, same reason that Nick is here with me on the show and we're doing the Mastery podcast and building out Mastery of Money together. I was introduced to a guy named Rob several years ago. And it was when I was an aspiring speaker and Rob was a full-time speaker. Rob took me under his wing. He was my mentor for a number of years. He told me what I was worth at the time and then slowly upped the number as he saw me speak and coach me on the speaking gigs. I cannot overstate how important it is to find someone to help you on the path as you pursue mastery in whatever it is you're going after.
Yeah, totally. I feel like I should be like, you should go like this and I should, be under your wing. That's awesome. Yeah, that's really, really powerful. Good stuff. Anything else?
I think that's it for today. What do we have for tomorrow?
Tomorrow we have a conversation around really the unconventional ways or different ways of education, particularly trade schools and different opportunities to really learn and make a difference.
Really important for parents and young people who are trying to figure out what their next step in the path is. So join us tomorrow.
Awesome.